Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. If you love shiny metal monster mayhem, then I got you covered because it's custom 4v4 pro action this afternoon with, I was about to say some of your favourite players, but there's 8 of them here. I'm sure you're going to like one of them, which is always good. And the best news, guys, is there's no news, so we can go straight to that action, which is going to take place on a generated map. Exciting stuff. I'm ready. You guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready, so let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching, ka-ching. And there we go. We move to a map that looks once again suspiciously like a cross-section of an alien uterus. I don't know what's going on, what's happening with the algorithm, but once you see it, you really can't unsee it. It's just the way it is. So there we have it. Let's take a look at the map, first of all, I guess. It's actually pretty interesting when you look at it. We've got this canal section, this cul-de-sac canal section that goes around in a big loop. The two teams located here and here. And you're going to get some naval play, I'm suspecting, in the canal sections that separate the two teams, and some land play up at the top left-hand corner. So hopefully this one should have just about everything. Let's check in with our players now and see how they match up and where they're situated. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top, this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1 in Regal Purple, it's Kite. There he is, going Seraphim, opening first land. Over here at the back in Lime Green, it's Limes, coincidentally. Going Cybrin, bless him, opening first land. Over to the front line down here in Mellow Yellow, we have none other than my good friend Freshie, rocking this season's very fashionable UEF, opening first land, going second ear. He's not going second ear, that would be peculiar. Second air. In what I think is very customary Mellow Yellow, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Answers in the comment section below if you know if that's accurate or not. And last but not least, for Team 1, it's Gortha, another Seraphim, excuse me, gosh, words are hard today. And he's going Electric Blue, opening first land, and then going air all day, it would seem. No doubt working on some early harass to kick off against his opponent down here at the bottom for Team 2. Emperor Penguin, first of all, in Spetsnaz Green. Another Seraphim, they're popular today, going first land, second air. Rearguard air position next up in fabulous Vivacious Violet. It's Luca, another UEF. He's opening first land, going second air. At the peninsula, the headland, whatever you want to call it. It's not quite an island. It's my fellow Brit there, Taffy, another UEF in Ferrari Red, and he opened first land and then just got on with it. He just left because he's got things to do. Last but not least, up here at the top, it's Kalins, another Cybrin in Dijon Yellow, going first land, second air. So there we have it. Game quality today is at 93%. That's a good team balance as far as we're concerned. Averages between the two teams, 1700 global ranking there for Team 2, 1675 there for Team 1. Players to look out for. Top rated players are the two air players for Team 1 and 2. That's Luca on Team 2 at 2000 and Limes on Team 1 for 1900. Gortha at 1500, Freshie at 1500, and Emperor Penguin there for Team 2 at 1500 as well. So they are potentially the weaker links. I wouldn't say weak links because, let's face it, they're all much better than me, so that would just be rude. First transports away, and this is purely an expansionary mission there for Kalins, who airlifts a Skyhook with 6 engineers and then has trouble finding the offload button. There we go, gets one on the ground eventually. No doubt that's going to move elsewhere and expand. Oh, thinks better of it and then drops off another one. A potentially incursion. That's not a thing. A potential incursion. That is a thing. Coming in from Kite, who's moving across that land bridge we mentioned earlier up in the top left-hand corner with a THAM and its own accompanying intel. It's Scout there, the Selen. A T1 bomber gets first kill, I think first blood for Freshie. Picks off an engineer which was either working on reclaiming that wrecked naval yard or was just about to nonetheless. Taffy's pulled his comm, picking up some Salem wrecks down here. Be interesting to see if he migrates up to try and grab some of that mass. Freshie going to get over to the wreck as well with one of his engineers, or at least the one that is designated for Team 1. He's sufficiently worked well on denying the mass from Team 2 by getting that early T1 bomber involved. Gortha pulling his comm, going straight after that wrecked naval HQ over there. And Taffy, having scooped both Salem wrecks, is now going to move on up. Did move on up initially to that one, but that engineer has bagged it. It's now going to work its way up to getting that other wrecked naval yard. That engineer unlikely to fare too well against the commander. Interesting air player Limes from Team 1. Moving up to the top left-hand corner. Needs to hurry and get his engineers on the ground, though, because Kalins has turned up with a couple of interceptors. Oh my god, 4 hit points, and he doesn't manage to shoot it down. There it goes, but it's too late. Limes successfully manages to drop those 2 engineers on the ground, which gets straight to work on a land factory with another one queued up behind it. So that could be a potential issue there for Kalins, who's going to want to burn out that infection ASAP before that gets too established. Tham breaching its way down here, kills off an engineer and starts working on a mechs. But this is interesting. So straight across the water, Kite wastes no time, starts setting up mass T1 spammer factories, if I could coin a phrase, if that's not too offensive on the ears, and they're going to get straight to work on spewing out Zuis, which are going to be sent on their inevitable suicide run straight down in here towards Kalin's main base, and has actually managed to deny a land factory from Kalin's. It was trying to set up shop there with a single engineer. The engineer got busted apart nice and quick, and so did the factory it was working on. That Zui goes on to attack the engineers, which were working on a torpedo launcher, which was going to defend against this early T1 frigate. Kite is all over this. Kalin's a similar skill on global ranking to his opponent here, 1700 versus 1800, but seems to be ever so slightly off the pace here. He's just getting beaten on every different metric at the moment. Perhaps he's ahead on mass, I don't know. Kite spiking up to 42. No, he's pulling in about 30 pretty much. Kalin's is putting on 37, so he is ahead on general mass production, but that's not going to last too long at the rate this is going. And you can see that little position of Luca up there at the top. It's not Luca, sorry, it's Limes, the other air-rated player from Team 1, which we saw land a moment ago, setting up shop nicely, getting a radar and throwing down some point defense, looking to solidify. But we do have more engineers on the ground there for Kalins, who's working on lots of land factories. Let's check in down here at the bottom right, because we haven't spent a lot of time in this section of the map. We've got naval yards down here at the bottom. That's under attack from Gortha. Aggressively placed naval yards, you have to say. Emperor Penguin going to the opposing side of the river there and setting up shop. We've also got a transport for Gortha coming in now, going right to the bottom, not dropping off down to this bottom corner and trying to assist those naval units in taking out that factory, but instead was looking like he was going for a drop further in. Sees the patrol craft, though, over there and says, you know what, that's a little too dangerous, and so pulls the transport back. He doesn't know what he's doing, changing his mind and then changing it back again, but it looks like for the moment at least he is going to be evacing that. Inbound from Taffy onto Gorthor's naval yards. We've got a small flotilla of vessels, looks like 4 frigates in total and a sub. Gorthor is in place with his comm and immediately gets to work on reclaiming one of those frigates from the safety of the seabed. Probably wants to work on that submarine as well. That's the only thing that's really going to threaten that comm from that position. But I don't like this for Kalins, the way that this is stacking up. All of this spam which is mounting in the canals here. He's already had one of his naval yards taken out. He will manage to complete the torpedo launcher that he started earlier, but generally it's not looking great. Kite also advancing on the land bridge in the top left hand corner, and he's doing that with his commander for the time being. Kalins' comm is down here, so that will be a definite mismatch in power down here. And although that's quite a strong set of facilities up here for Kalins, he is at the moment tied down and dealing with this position of Limes up at the top left corner. All looking slightly dangerous. Meanwhile, down here at the bottom right seems to be going slightly better for Team 2, who are forcing Gortha's Kelm out of the water and taking down his naval yards. Combination play there between Taffy and Emperor Penguin. We're going to be successful in, for the time being at least, locking Gortha out of the sea game altogether. Freshy getting a T3 upgrade on his commander. 50% done there. Interesting stuff. Going to be just outside the 10-minute mark on completion there. We've got a torpedo upgrade on the way for Kalen's comm, looking to be able to be more effective against inbound vessels, trying to maintain defensive perimeter around those naval yards. But I'd actually say this is a more pressing issue right now. These floaty, naughty are not going to be affected by any torpedo upgrades on the comm, that's for sure. And his main base now sustaining significant damage. We've got core mass getting taken down. This is absolutely deadly right now for Kalen's. Wonderful breakthrough if you're rooting for Team 1. Kite rolling in, taking down all of the core mass now, picking off engineers, and this base wide open now for destruction. T1 power generators getting taken down in short order. Hydro gonna go down next. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. He has managed to get out a Jester. That's good. Those artillery pieces, of course, unable to shoot back at the gunship. But that's just one gunship. I wouldn't be surprised if that entire base is taken apart. Back up to the top left corner. Limes' position is finally overrun. Last few defenses have been taken out, leaving just a mechs and a couple of land factories, all by their lonesome. And with the amount of Mantis there, he should be able to take care of that. He's also pushing out towards this forward base of Kites. But Kite has also pushed forward with his commander, and he's got a decent contingent with him on the ground, setting up another land factory as well for a reinforced point. Gortha, desperately trying to get re-established in the naval game, has managed to his credit to get another naval yard up. And with assistance from his torpedo bombers, should be able to hold on to it as the last submarine belonging to Emperor Penguin gets taken out. Where is Freshy's commander? I'm very suspicious about that T3 upgrade we saw, and that's why Freshy airdropping his comm over to Team 2's side of the map. Starlifter needs to get him on the ground before it gets discovered and shot down. We've got ASFs nearby from Luca. Oh my goodness, get him on the ground. Get him on the ground immediately. Limes taking the opportunity to get involved with a strat as well. But Freshy, going for it all, needs to drop off immediately. 4 ASFs have homed in. Oh, what a waste. What an absolute waste, Fresh. Oh man. So it looked like it was going so well for Team 1, but then Freshy just went for too much, tried to go too deep with his commander, gets shot down. Fortunately for Team 1, full share is on. Unfortunately for the fairies, one has had to die from terminal stomach ulcers just for that fact. Land factory up and running soon on the shore as Kite completes his conquest against the main base. Kalen's, he's had to cancel that torpedo upgrade, not that it would have been of much use at this point anyway. He's just been caught wrong-footed by Kite at every opportunity. His only real bet now is to move up towards this top left corner and try and solidify up here, but he will of course be isolated from the rest of his team. Petty recriminations in chat going off there from Gortha by the looks of things. Freshy telling him to chill. Apologies if the language gets a bit fruity here, guys. You get a chance to check through it all. If it does, do yell at me in the comment section. I can always blur out anything that anyone finds offensive later. Hopefully these guys will keep it to the straight and narrow. But yeah, after that fabulous start, Team 1 down a player. Could they manage to change things up though? Gortha in a spot of bother here. Lost about 60% of his HP to these vessels down here. We had a couple of destroyers. One of them's gone down though. I'm surprised they're not chasing the comm. The destroyer would be able to finish that even if he got out onto the ground. But he doesn't like this torpedo bomber situation. There's enough ASFs over here from Lucas, surely though, to contend with those. Well, I don't know. Even numbers by the looks of things. Limes perhaps with a minor advantage from those T1 interceptors. Just tipping it over the edge in favor of Team 1's air for the time being. Luca now moves in to provide air support, but the destroyer has already sunk to the bottom by the looks of things. Nonetheless, Gortha made it out of trouble. And now we have some inbound spam coming up from Luca, and also a strap bomber and a Stinger gunship, or a few Stinger gunships actually, lurking around the area as they try and wrestle back control of this position. We still have some units moving in from Kalins, but Kalins has lost this position up here. He's lost his main base. He is pushing back. There was, of course, that position there that Kite took. That's now been overrun. And Kite taking some strats to the face from Luca. Where is the air support from Limes? He needs help immediately. There are lots of T1 inties, but they take a long time to chew through those 4,000 hit points. Kite just about manages to avoid the next bombing run. Escort detail for that strap bomber has shown up. Kite's got a long way to go to make it to the water, but some ASFs have shown up from lines, and he dukes back again, perfectly avoiding all damage on that next bombing run. This is brilliant duking here from Kite. Yes, I did use that word specifically because I didn't want to say kiting from Kite, but then I ended up saying it anyway, so it kind of defeats the purpose. Let's face it, that's the whole reason you guys tune in, really. Nothing to do with the brightly coloured dots moving around on the map. Very nasty looking fleet there from Taffy. All shielded up to the nines with those bulwark ships. Could that be once again the end of Gortha's naval position? Kite still looking unhealthy on about 4,000 hit points, but looking a hell of a lot better than he did a moment ago now that that strap bomb has been taken out. And Kalin's going on a rampage now that Kite's been tied up on this island down here, combating and trying to evade that strap bomber. Now pushing up with his comm and a horde of spam, lots and lots of Mantis now moving in to overrun these positions. What have we got down here? All of the point defense by the looks of things have been taken out. This position up here wide open. All of this looking like it might be in danger now for Kite, who looks so very strong in the first 15 minutes of this one. And Taffy moving in once again, surely now to deny Gortha Navy once again. It's now a T2 Naval HQ, so it's going to take a little bit longer to take out, but it will get taken out. Rest assured of that. There it goes. Many brave souls died in that encounter. Sinking now to the bottom. Lime starting RAS. Let's take a quick look on Eco. reclaim side of things, Team 1 have definitely fared better. They're about 12k up overall. Total mass, Team 1 way up. But then how much of that is reclaiming lost structures? Who can say? Generated eco, though, Team 1 is up by a fair old bit, it has to be said. Possibly 50, 60 mass. Something in that range. But how long will that continue? My goodness, what a difference 5 minutes make. Kite almost killed on the island down here. Now full on retreat up in the top left hand corner. He's been burned out of this position here by Luca, who's noticeably not transferring this back over to Kaelin's. No, this is all going into his coffers. And to be honest, that probably offers Team 2 the better chance overall. Taffy now, after the destruction of Gorthor's position down here, sailing further up the canal and putting some pressure on what was Freshy's old base. Now, of course, belonging to Limes. Naval yard taken out. Mix of destroyers, the Valiants, the Governors, now raining fire down onto this base. T2 Air HQ down and out. And I wouldn't be surprised if that whole base gets annihilated. I cannot believe this batting collapse we've seen from Team 1. Admittedly not helped by the demise of Freshy. How different would it have been if he'd have been able to get onto the ground a little bit further up? He wanted to get in here and just properly build base in your base against Luca, and that would have been probably a killing blow, but it was a gamble that didn't pay off. Still, we love to see it, guys. If you're always wondering about what will increase your chances of getting casted, growing huge sets of shiny balls and dropping your comm in your opponent's face stands you a good chance. But Kaelin's has been on the run from this strap bomber. He's managed to get himself under one shield gem, but he is badly damaged. One more bomb and he is done. 1,000 hit points there. Oh, shield goes down. It collapses. Can he get the next one up and running? He's not going to be inside the shield, though, if he does. Should get on the move, but in comes a whaler as well. He's not going to make it. No! Wonderful work by Limes. Picking off a vulnerable Kaelin's up there to level it, at least in terms of player numbers. Team 1 still on the back foot, territorially speaking. And a well-developed navy down here for Team 2 might just be the secret to winning this. Gorthor desperately trying to break out with his spam, his floaty, naughty. Taking his land units shamelessly into the water to try and counter these vessels for Emperor Penguin. Not doing too badly, actually, considering there's a severe lack of micro, which is helping his case. Emperor Penguin sitting put with his vessels, allowing those artillery pieces to land their hits. But things further to the northwest in the canal system not faring so well for Team 1. This fleet, which is growing steadily from Taffy, looking more and more dangerous, and once it gets up here, Kite might well, if not being physically ejected from the game, might be de facto ejected as all of his infrastructure gets taken apart by naval bombardment. Whaler doing its job. Patrolling, trying to curb down some of the Mantis streaming in from Luca, who's of course inherited all of this gubbins up here at the top left after Kaelin's demise. That Zooey spam still getting work done. Emperor Penguin could do with some mobile shield gens to help his frigates out. Definitely do with a couple of destroyers as well. He's got a cruiser here and an inbound destroyer. Used to keep the cruiser safe. Better to keep it further back in my mind. A couple more destroyers should help him chop through that spam. But Taffy now breaching in towards the harbour area of Kite. Limes overhead with another one of his strat bombers. Doesn't last long thanks to the presence of the cruisers under those shield gens. Huge amounts of anti-air. And now this is very bad for Team 1. Kite, whose comm is literally now in the middle of all of that. Needs to find a way to extricate himself without getting picked off. He's going to lose all of his naval yards. He's going to lose his main base. It's going to take some spectacular turn of fortune for Team 1 now. They are way off the pace in generated eco. Team 2 up nearly 200 mass by the looks of things, and that's only going to get worse now with the demise of this base. Torpedo, sorry, not torpedo, but T1 bombers. Another late night last night. Blowing a ruddy gale here in the UK at the moment. And that is literally the end of that base. Kite now running for his life with his commander. Doesn't really make a great deal of difference. There's no way back in it for him right now. The one saving grace is that a lot of this infrastructure is pretty safe from this position down here. These vessels would have to come in single file down here. And he is setting up some Gunthers on the ridge, some artillery pieces. So that would be a hard battle for the Navy to fight their way into this pond, and then only the cruisers would be able to reach in and do damage, I think. Need their long-range missiles.
Strategic launch detected.
Oh, and there's a nuke out from Limes. Could that be the ace in the hole that turns this around for Team 1? They certainly hope so, I'm sure. It looks like it's going in towards Luca. By the looks of things, it took Kite by surprise as well. Not surprising, he's been busy trying to keep himself in the game. Not surprising he hadn't noticed. Any strategic missile defense? It doesn't look like it. So that's the main base in tatters for Luca. And Limes, by the looks of things, already has massive air advantage. And this will solidify that by the looks of things. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's pretty even. So the nuke lands. The base is gone. No, it's pretty darn even. But now the difference is Limes can replenish his losses. Luca needs to rebuild. That's a good final engage, though, for Luca. Properly gets in behind the pile and emerges victorious on that side of things. Strat bombers came out perhaps a little early, hoping that that exchange was going to go better and he could get in and start doing damage with them. Massive amounts of spy planes out. to try and isolate positions, no doubt, for the other comms. We do have fairly good SAM coverage, so those ASFs there from Luca aren't going to want to spend any time there. Did he shoot down all the strats? I think he might have done, though. That is very unfortunate if they didn't get back to safety. Yeah, their torpedo bombers there. Wow. I think they might have hung a left turn ill-advisedly up here. Maybe I'm missing them somewhere. Credit where credit's due to Gortha, who has stayed in the game. He hasn't managed to become majorly relevant in any way, shape or form, but he's still around. And they're half done on the next nuke. That could be absolutely crucial. I was pretty much, I won't lie guys, I was pretty much ready to call this for Team 2 till the launch and the successful connection of that nuke. But that has literally blown this game wide open. Astonishingly, Emperor Penguin and Taffy haven't managed to kill off Gortha's base down here. They've killed off Kite, so that navy up there has started to migrate its way down. We've got a lot of firepower in here, so I reckon they're going to be able to push their way through. You can see the AoE damage being done by those vessels, taking out clumps of units. Might have been some of that T1 bomber as well. We do have some T3 units, which is worth a mention from Luca. I don't know where they're exactly coming from. They look like bricks. They are bricks. Assaulting that position up there. Too many T1 point defense though for that one to deal with. Another one down here though will pick up a T2 mechs. Gun upgrade on the way for Kite. That looks like it's going to be a while. But look at all of the hives going up and look at all the support that's going to give that nuke launcher. There's 2 nuke launchers now. This is a very, very interesting development. Team 2 need to find a way to get in here and kill these off. One nuke ready, another one ready soon. 2/3 done there by the looks of things. He's going to fire that straight away, don't blame him.
Strategic launch detected.
Question is, where is it going? Well, it looks like this one might be towards Emperor Penguin, or maybe the fleet. Assaulting Gortha, Taffy's fleet in that channel now and bombarding the base. No, that is going to airball over the top and on towards Emperor Penguin's base. Emperor Penguin right by his naval yards there. Is he going for the kill or the main base? It's the main base. And that will connect as well. So that's another gaping hole in Team 2's economy. Torn a new one. All of the commanders now massing around the last safe haven. Limes' base up here at the top, defended by Sam's. But of course, you see, there's still this this fleet situation down here. I'm wondering if that wouldn't have been a better option, nuking the fleet instead. It certainly didn't move when that one fired. Didn't seem to move. They wouldn't have got out of the way. Hindsight, though, is a wonderful thing.
Strategic launch detected.
There goes another nuke. And this one looks like it might be going in towards Taffy's base. Taffy, who's pulling his commander away from his main base. And by the looks of things, we've got an anti-nuke silo, but it's a long way off getting a nuke in it. That one is going to land as well. So Limes systematically taking apart his opponent's main bases one by one with nuclear attack. Luca trying to hit back up here. He's going to find himself massively outmatched by hordes of whalers. We've got a lot of Sky Slammers in here, but T1 Tech versus Tech 3 Tech, not ideal. There is a banger in there, which promptly gets prioritized as soon as I mention it. A bit of strap bomber harass over the top, why not? Gortha's base now getting picked apart. Where are we at with Emperor Penguin? That's the question. With his range, can't quite kill off everything of importance with his destroyers. Apologies if you can hear my dog in the background. Been a rough day for him. New laptop hasn't arrived. That is a bug that's under construction. 53,000 hit points, and that could be a nail in the coffin of Team 2. Lots and lots of bombardment still going on, but those missiles facing that wall of tactical missile defense. He's absolutely going for it today, guys. Apologies for that. Gunther's up on the cliff. This was the installation we were talking about earlier. It's going to make it difficult for those vessels coming up single file. It's actually a beautifully crafted map for a generated map. Kite on an upgrade still. But the bug is complete. Making its way across the map now. Luca, no doubt the recipient. That is the key target for Limes. The last real threat. These bases up here have been an issue for him. This navy is just waiting, begging for the next nuke down here, all bottled up in the canal. How long do we have to wait? The answer is not very long. It's getting a lot of support. Climbing quickly thanks to those hives. The main wealth sink, the main math sink. Prior to that was the construction of the Soul Ripper. Taffy moving away from his naval yards with his commander. It's all suddenly very muted. These guys with their one major weapon left, their major advantage, the naval play. All three players in it with their units piling into this area now. Limes stacking cormorants ready to hit back, but really I just think it's going to need a nuke. One good nuke and that should deal with all of it, and he's nearly got it. Waits just a little bit longer for them to bottle up in here, and he's laughing. Now where's that bug? Seriously, where's the bug? Where did it go? There it is. And it's taken a lot of damage. Luca's locked onto it with his ASFs. It's got a very substantial escort detail. But Luca has done brilliant work trying to cut that down, but now he's getting picked apart by a combination of those cormorants and the Soul Ripper. Soul Ripper ground firing, trying to kill it with AoE. Luca down to 7,500 hit points. But the last of the cormorants in that section have been destroyed, and Limes decides to move on to the main base instead. There are 3 SAMs down here. He's going to go in and try and take out the strategic missile defense, which he's going to do. Will he manage to keep the Soul Ripper alive? Down to 5,000 hit points. It's going to be close. Still taking fire. 2,000, 1,000. Just gets it out of there. It's got a lot of whalers for assistance as well. Looks like he's moving on towards Emperor Penguin. Meanwhile, the fleet bombardment in here continues. That nuke's still not ready. What has he been building that's been absorbing all of his eco? But Luca is out of the water and is now going to get waylaid to death. That will surely be the end, and the end it is. Bosh! Down it goes. He's just got his... brought his bug in, and it looked like it died purely because of the explosion from the comm. Shamelessly unnecessary. And then there was just Taffy and Emperor Penguin, so Team 2 go down a player once again. Bit of a stream of Zooey spam coming in from Emperor Penguin. Just can't get over how long this nuke is taking to finish. Lots of Tech 1 point defense around Limes, defending against potential tele attack. Well, there are no Cybrans left on that team now. That just won't tick over, that nuke. Just won't do it. But moment of recognition for Gortha, who still has his base down here. He has not been eradicated. It's pretty extraordinary when you think about it, that Team 2 have been on the back foot when they've got all of this territory, and Team 1 are sitting on this. It's literally, it's this and it's this. That's it. They might have an extra player, but that's it. That is all the territory that Team 1 have, and yet I'd say they are in a comfortable position here with the weapons they've got. He didn't expend that nuke trying to kill the Navy. I guess he doesn't see it as that much of a threat because of the distance that pond is away from the base. Instead, he's going to take the opportunity to kill off Emperor Penguin with a nuke to the face. Emperor Penguin said he was stuck on some units there. How very unfortunate. But I'm not sure it would have made a huge deal of difference. He reclaims the nuke launcher. Interesting. And he's going to dump the mass into an experimental bomber, which is getting a lot of assistance from the hives. And that is building very quickly indeed. Taffy with a huge amount of territory and potential infrastructure. And yet, look at the difference. He's producing just 500 mass versus the 800 that Limes is putting out. And he's not spending it either. That is mass that is just being wasted. That sometimes can happen when you inherit a huge amounts of stuff. It takes a while for you to reapply everything. Get new build orders going. Create new armies and whatnot. Large quantities of Seraphim T1 factories were thrown up there by Emperor Penguin. No doubt for mass Zooey spam, trying to finish off Gortha's position once and for all. That experimental bomber just flying. Limes wanting to get this done and done quickly is actually recycling core structures like ion reactors just to make sure he can get this done and done quickly. He doesn't like the fact that they're sitting on the amount of territory that they are. They didn't want to allow Taffy time to get established, which is completely understandable. Where is Taffy's comm? That's the question. We have strategic missile defense in place down here. You know what? There it is, I think. So there it is, Taffy's commander down here. And these are quite shallow waters, so perfectly easy to ground fire with an experimental bomber and still take off large chunks of health off a commander. There it is. Time for some top-level arse washing. Is he going to drop one on the Navy? Why not? Take the pressure off while you can. Takes a lot of fire, but takes a lot of kills as well. Emperor Penguin, Kite is alive? I'm confused. He certainly is. He was never finished off. Out come the spy planes leading on that experimental bomber, now presumably looking for Taffy's commander, which is situated just down here. He's got ASFs down here as well. He's got torpedo bombers. He's got a group of whaler gunships. This is it from Lime's position. He sees a couple of blips down here. He moves over to check them and correctly assumes that that is the commander. He gets a bomb away that's going to land right on Taffy's head. Takes him down to 1,000 hit points. Still not seeing that graphic when it impacts on water sometimes. Really annoying. But one more of those and Taffy is done. Experimental bomber taking a lot of damage, but it won't matter because Limes, MVP all day, has pulled this one back from the brink with stunning nuclear plays and just about killing everybody. Limes MVP, says Kite. Yeah, seriously. Very well played indeed, Limes. Congratulations, Team 1. Commiserations, Team 2. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Don't forget, if you've seen everything here and want more content for just a measly $1 a month, you can check out the Patreon. Details in the description below this video. There's some 25 casts or something up there at the moment. Another one due to be going up, I think, tomorrow or the next day, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.